Oh, peace and blessings, man. I'm finally live, man. Do you know what it is to actually got to go through all the stuff that I got to go to get to where I got to get to? But I know that's not your problem, right? That's my problem. That's a me thing, not a you thing. So let's make it a us thing. Let's do it together. Me, you, and them. Now, what we going to do is we're going to share this out. Why are we going to share this out? Because why are you going to keep all this goodness to yourself? Now, you know Saturdays I go live at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. But the king had to cook for his wife and his son. Why? Because soon the king won't be here. So you got to make sure that she remembers who butters her biscuits. You heard me? Got to make sure she know not only can I bring home the bacon, I can fry it up in a pan. And never, ever let you forget who's the man. Man, we got some stuff to talk about today. Oh, man. Now, a lot of times, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done combat talk in a while. Let me switch those off. Let me get those off. Let me get these on, because maybe you didn't know who the hell you was talking to. But you're talking to me, the king. And I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho, ha, ha, ha. This is true. Let's get it. Boy, oh boy. What a wonderful day in the history of boxing, video games. Why? Because not one of those dudes that you follow could do what I do, because I do it like I'm on TV. Why? Because I am coming through your TV right now. Now, a lot of dudes that you watch, they do combat talk, right? Or they talk combat. They don't do combat talk. Now, I got to give a shout out to a couple of people that I do respect. A lot of dudes that's in the industry right now, and dudes probably thought I dropped my flag. Never dropped my flag, babe. I'm always banging. Pause. I'm going to tell you that right now. Now, a lot of times you got to take your profession very seriously. And that's what I do. So when you become a jack of all trades, you become a master of none, but you got to make sure that you know a lot to get it done. So what I do is make sure I master the stuff that I really love. Now, I'm a savant when it comes to this boxing talk. Combat talk, I'm an absolute savant. You heard me? I'm a savant. And a lot of these dudes out here I respect. So first of all, I'm going to start off with one dude that I respect, because I see in your background, you give me homage. And I'm going to give you homage. Showbiz the adult. You there? I'll be right there soon. I'm coming. I'll be there soon. Pause. That's my dude. I love the work that he does. Overall, great guy. And a lot, you know what I don't like? I don't like when it comes to, it's competitive. Content creators, they're very competitive. So sometimes you may see other people in our content creating space, no matter where you are, they feel like it's not enough food for people to eat. So I don't like when people that I like go at each other. But I also like Southpaw TV. I watch Southpaw TV heavy because Southpaw TV, he keep it real. He keep it real. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna lie. Blue Blood Sports, I like him. He brings the comedy to it. I like Blue Blood Sports. And there's a couple of others that I do like out there. Boxing Ego. I like Boxing Ego, but you stole our logo, B, and I should put a cease and desist upon your forehead. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Now, if none of y'all understood how I get down, I'm a constant professional. And maybe some of y'all never heard my intro. Let me give you that right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Presents the featured event of the evening. As tonight, presented Boxing After Dark.
Fight talk, can't hit a thing with the lights off. Can't talk heavy with a light jaw. Hold on. Fight talk, can't hit a thing with your lights off. Can't talk heavy with a light jaw. Might win, might lose, or might draw. Welcome to the combat talk. Haters send love, but it come back salt. If you really want it in the ring, I gon' send the contract off, knock his contacts out. You a field mice trying to take a viper. Ain't no competition in the ring of cipher. Cause I'm spitting venom and I'm swinging fire. Talking pickle peppers, make them pay the piper. Cause I might go left like a rude discussion and deflate your chest like a food reduction. You be talking like you want a new concussion. Send a dude a custom attitude adjustment. These are fighting words, better give me that respect that I deserve. For another knuckle sandwich I would serve. Have him tipping, moving like a tire swerve. Out here acting bad, thinking Michael Jackson even got his one and only homie capping. You a phony homie, now you owe me action. Have him singing Tony Braxton. And they all wanna talk for attention, but the fame only lasts for an instant. Mama got hands, so I'm bred for the tension. I'ma leave him red, you can dance to redemption.
I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't nobody got it like that. Not a damn soul. All my intros pop. Yeah, I did Iron Lord's intro too. But and when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about as a marketing manager, you got to be able to have that eye. You got to be able to understand the people that you're working with. That's Dallas that was breaking down those words. And also remember, King's Corner is coming upstairs. Pause. And y'all going to get a chance to see that. That's King of the Statues mixed with a little bit of comic books, a little bit of mix. Yeah. So we're going to be talking to Canelo versus Crawford. I'm going to break down my prediction of the fight. Plus, we're going to talk. We got a whole bunch of other stuff that we're talking about here. Don't think that it's just this today. That's not it. We're going to be talking video games. I got a whole lot of stuff that I want to talk about in video games. And I do gotta shout out one dude. Who was that? Hold on. Was this my peoples that did that one? It was over here. Yeah. All right. I'm going to switch it over real quick because I want to give a shout out to GOAT Gaming. GOAT Gaming put up some stuff today. I don't ever, how would you say it? I don't ever pull up Twitter to really, show people's business. I don't really do that. Right. So let me show y'all really quickly what I'm talking about because he touched on something that I knew about, and I just want y'all to see what he was talking about. And hopefully, because this is still up in the air, hopefully Microsoft and Xbox is going in the direction. But we're going to get back to the combat talk in a second. But let me show you exactly what I'm talking about so you can understand. All right, so you see that controller, this controller here? This is pretty much what I was talking about before with the controller with the Xbox. And I got to give a shout out to Go Gaming for putting it out. Listen, I'm not a leaker. I get information and I kind of like retain the information. If that's it. So that controller is pretty much something that you got to look and see exactly where Microsoft is going with it. Microsoft is going in the direction of uniformity. Right, so when you pick up your PlayStation controller and you have your DualSense and you have that little touchpad thing in the middle, cool. You can run and do it like a mouse and go to your apps and stuff like that. But that functionality that's there is also transcendent across other devices. Now, when you also use that controller for how can I say it? Using, let's say, something on Steam, those games that you play from Steam, trackball, mouse, figure, go hit that button. Go do that, make it happen. It's those things that make that happen. But right now, I want to talk about the combat talk. I want to get into the combat talk. For a while, I didn't do it because I had to focus on a lot of other things. And remember, that happens on Saturdays when it's a fight day like today. And it usually happens at Saturday night. But I always give a prediction of whatever the fight is going to be after the weigh-in. Now, a lot of dudes like to talk about fighters before the weigh-in. I like to talk about fighters after the weigh-in. And somebody popped into my stream yesterday on Fight Night Friday. Shout out to the team at Fight Night Friday. We had such a fun time yesterday. I got to tell you guys that they were highly disrespectful yesterday. So if you didn't get a chance to see those highly disrespectful fools, we had fun yesterday. One of the things that was talked about, hey, cut it out. You, get away from her. One of the things that was talked about yesterday was when your dog goes out to go to the bathroom. Now, I had to take my dogs out to, to go to the yard and to go, take care of the bathroom. I pick up the dog poo, put it away. Now, I didn't know that they were having a conversation while I was out doing that. So I come back and they asked me, do I wet wipe my dogs when they come in? Do I wipe them? I was like, yeah, of course. I wipe their paws when they go outside and they come in. And especially, well, if, whatever, they go to the bathroom, I'll wipe them. Now, and, toss it inside the bag with the poo, put it out. That was standard operating procedure. I personally, I've never had a rescue dog or something like that. I've always went out and purchased dogs. So when I was doing my research of that, when they go outside, they have stuff in their paws or whatever. You don't want to have this, that, and the third. Listen, I don't know if a lot of people go to the vet, but I go to the vet. I take them to the vet, and the vet costs a lot of money. So I don't need to have anything that's going to, get it crazy. So they was bugging out yesterday. So if y'all get a chance to see that, you can see those lunatics over there. But looking at this fight, I got a chance to see both fighters come in and weigh in. And I've pretty much been monitoring all blessings. I've been pretty much monitoring all the fight, like up to it, like the sparring and stuff. I got people that's out in Vegas. I hit them up. Got people in California at Freddie Roger Gym, Wild Card Gym. I got people in New York. I got people in Jersey. Oh, yeah, Jersey, Atlantic City. So when I ask a couple of questions, now, by proxy, I got people in Philly. So when Boots went up to spar with Canelo, I realized that Canelo was serious. I realized that Canelo was absolutely locked in. Now, they both came in at 167.5. Blessings. That's what's up, John Wolf. Yo, John, I just gave you a shout out the other day. Yo, John, before you leave, I was playing the Genesis that you sent me. All right, so shout out to John Wolf. John Wolf sent me a Genesis Mini. And a lot of those guys, they're going to get a chance to see the room upstairs and get a chance to see where I have my retro video games consoles. Now, I think mini arcades or mini consoles, I think they're the greatest forms of having your older collections, because 9 times out of 10, they have the most loved collections there. And you're able to put them up to modern televisions and play them, right? So I said it was dope. I didn't have the Genesis, and I had just got the TurboGrafx, and he saw one of the conversations that I was having online, and he's such a dope individual. He reached out to me in DMs, and he sent it to me, and I'm super surprised and happy, and I plugged it in. My son didn't know what Genesis was, and he got a chance to play, and we got a chance to talk about it. And the fact that Sega's having a resurgence is a wonderful thing. So I just wanted to tell John that you are a wonderful blessing in my life, and I appreciate you. And that's just dopeness, like the kindness of others, man. Trust me when I tell you this, man. A hell of a dope individual, and I'm glad that you popped in. And I had to say it. So I appreciate you so much. But yeah. So when I found out that Boots was going up there to spar, now I know pretty much these guys are going to pretty much spar with whatever the talent is available. Now, sometimes if you don't feel that you're going to have to use certain amount of talent, you're not going to get the best sparring partners, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Canelo, for the last couple of fights, went out and got the best and did the best. In a lot of those training camps, he was going in injured. Like he had a knee problem or he had a shoulder problem or whatever. And you could tell that by when he gets to the fight, he has that sports tape on him. All right. So, and him having that sports tape on him, you already know that he's nursing whatever injury. All right, cool. We understand that. And I find that to be absolutely respectable that you didn't postpone the fight. You just kept going. But also, you probably felt that person wasn't a credible threat. or wasn't a threat enough for you to have to be 100% going into the fight. But he pretty much has normal sparring, people that he trusts and people that's going to give him good work. And he knows a lot of really legendary fighters that they come through, like Andre Ward and others that will come through and spar with him, give him good work. But that's not the same thing as fighting somebody that is hungry, that is in the top of their division, that is a champion, that is coming in not with a sparring partner mentality, or not with a retired mentality, but with a mentality of somebody that is hungry at the top and is accessing you right now. They're checking you to see if they got a chance with you. And when I saw him sparring Boots, and he has a Cuban fighter and a Dominican fighter, Canelo has some really good sparring there. Bud has pretty much normal sparring. What's the difference between Bud's training camp and Canelo's training camp is two things. Money and resources changes how you spar. But Bud has an ace in the hole. Bud is sponsored or partners with Snack. Snack is headed by Victor Conte. Victor Conte is the known steroids cheat that got caught with Balco. He started a company called Balco. If anybody's familiar with baseball or other sports in general, when the feds took down Balco and Victor Conte, he rolled over and gave all his information. But after he did his time and, paid his restitution, he came out and started another company. Now, he started another company in sports medicine and claiming that this sports medicine is 100% clean. But in noticeable interviews, he's also come out and said that he knows how to get around the testing. Now, with that being said, Canelo has been accused on taking clenbuterol. Clenbuterol is a weight cutting drug, and it's enhancer, among others. So you have one person that has been accused of having substances in his body, right, which is Canelo, and he said he got that through tainted meat, allegedly. And you have Bud, who aligned himself with Victor Conte, a known steroids cheat that has went to jail and paid restitution and started up a new company, and now is ahead of a supposedly clean company and has a lot of athletes. Now, a lot of these athletes that work with Victor Conte, a lot, not all, has gone on to do unimaginable things. Now, I'm going to tell you the difference between this fight. Now, I want you to understand what I'm talking about here when I say this. Now, Eddie Reynoso Jr. is Canelo's trainer. Why is that important? Ryan Garcia used to train with Eddie Reynoso Jr. Eddie Reynoso Jr. used to train Ryan Garcia. I'm a very smart individual. If I go around you and I get a chance to see your plug, and I'm going through you and I meet the plug, you're cut out. So now that Ryan Garcia is no longer with Eddie Reynoso Jr., and he was working with Derek James for his big fight, I think it was April 23rd, April 14th or April 17th, 2023, or yeah, I think it was 2024, when he fought Devin Haney. The reason why that makes a whole bunch of sense, and I'm going to get to it. The reason why this makes a whole bunch of sense is because Devin Haney is a snack fighter. Devin Haney has jumped multiple weight classes while being fit in his absolute body shape, being completely fit, have energy throughout the fight, and is able to have somewhat of a little pop in his punches. A little bit. Devin Haney's not known as a big fighter. Okay, so we have a snack fighter versus someone that has been linked to Eddie Reynoso Jr. that could possibly have the plug. That scenario in that fight turned into a whitewash from Ryan Garcia smoking Devin Haney, which we thought going into that fight that Devin Haney would beat Ryan Garcia. We thought that because Ryan Garcia was spiraling down a mental illness thing, drinking and smoking, but got into the fight and beat the absolute snot out of Devin Haney. The reason why this makes wild sense when you start to link it, Eddie Reynoso, remember, snack. Now we have an Eddie Reynoso fighter in Canelo, and we have a snack fighter in Bud. Has anybody seen Bud's body? Has anyone seen Bud's body? I've seen Bud's body. Pause. He looks like an AI construct. I just want you to go back a couple of months, if you get a chance, and go back and look at Bud's body before and after. But you know what? Hold on. Yeah, I type like an old lady. So what? All right. Now I'm gonna show you what Bud looks like in various positions, like this one. Let's see this one, right? All right, come on. All right. Look at this image of Bud right here. You see that image of Bud? That's normal, right? That's his normal body. That's Bud, right? Okay. All right. Let me get Bud after this weigh-in. Okay, they don't have it right here. Let me put recent. No, that's here. Let me go here, recent. He has one image that is in absolute sane that I said, oh, he's out there. Jesus. Where's the weigh-in shot? If anybody got it, send it to me because I'm going to show you the difference. You know, I'm going to put the weigh-in. All right, cool. Check it out. Look at his body. You're going to look at both of their bodies. Look at his body. You see his chest? See his pecs? See his ab work? See his biceps? Look at his traps. Look at his delts. Canelo pretty much looks like he's weight drained. If you look at Canelo right here, he looks like he's weight drained. Bud didn't have to drain no weight. Bud was going up in weight. But the muscle definition here, to put on 20 pounds worth of muscle in a matter of 6 weeks is insane. Absolutely insane. Some say it's unheard of, right? Now, you're gonna say Ryan came off that stuff for Rolly and looked like a bum. Now, Ryan got punched in his face and didn't perform properly after that. Ryan doesn't take punches well. Ryan gets in his head. Now, the reason why I brought up the Ryan and the Devin Haney fight is because those was two fighters that I presume that was both on enhancement drugs. One popped dirty later, but one wouldn't pop dirty off a snack because Victor Conte knows how to duck, allegedly, the testing. Now, I said when Manny Pacquiao fought Marquez, that was the battle of who had the better drugs. And Manny Pacquiao went to sleep. Marquez is from Mexico. Marquez had the better stuff. After watching the weigh-in, after seeing what I needed to see, I believe that it's going to be a highly competitive fight. But I also believe that Canelo ultimately is going to win. I personally would love for Bud to win. I personally would love for Bud to go in there and win because, listen, I know I said it on Iron Low's podcast. I was joking around. If somebody beats my team going to the Super Bowl, I'm rolling with the team that beat my team. Okay? If you beat my team, automatically by default, you was better than my team, and I wanted my team to be there, but you stopped my team, so cool. Before Errol Spence fought Bud, it was Errol Spence versus Canelo. That was the conversation. But Errol Spence was a broken toy going into that fight in more ways than one. Errol Spence's first fight after that car accident was Danny Garcia, where he got punched in the mouth, his mouthpiece dropped out, and he kind of looked out of sorts, and Danny caught him with a shot. And then he fought, what was the Cuban fighter? Oh, man, his name escapes me right now, but it'll come to me. He fought the Cuban fighter, and he beat him. He beat him pretty bad. But but Spence didn't really look like pre-accident Spence. He just looked like really good guy. Going into the fight with Bud, he had a rib injury. And instead of postponing the fight because he thought he would lose the fight, and it was his biggest payday, $25 million, that's the reason why he shook Bud's hand and said, "You're going to thank me for this." He knew going into that fight he was injured. He took allegedly something before the fight. That's why he looked out of sorts. And maybe I'm making excuses, but from what I was explained to by certain people, that's how it went. And they were supposed to get the run back fight. Spence ain't coming back unless it's some big bread. So he's working his way back to get some big bread. Bud has gone on to make bigger and bigger bread going forward. Bud wants to maximize his money. So this fight going forward, for me, I'm with Bud. I hope Bud wins. But Canelo's going to win. I think Canelo might get the stoppage. I think Bud... And the reason why I say this is because I think Bud over-aggressiveness to get back, he's a highly competitive person. He is probably one of the most competitive boxers that you will ever meet in this world. He's competitive on a basketball court, wrestling, chess, no matter what he does, Bud is highly competitive. And my fear is Canelo hits him with a couple of good shots and Bud needs to retaliate. And your need to retaliate, that might hurt you. Because that might open you up to another counter shot. Now, knowing that Canelo is the counter puncher in this fight, both can counter punch. Canelo is the natural counter puncher. The reason why Canelo could not beat Floyd is a superior counter puncher with better defense. He forced Canelo into the lead role and let Canelo come to him, countered, and then when Canelo backed up, Floyd initiated offense, hit him up, went back into his shell, Philly shell style. Canelo couldn't penetrate the shell, pause, countering, spinning, holding, and taught him a lesson. Canelo learned all of that because he's a counterpuncher. Canelo is a superior boxer going into this fight. He's a superior counterpuncher. He's also the harder puncher out of the two. Bud is a southpaw orthodox fighter. That means he can switch from right-handed to left-handed. Bud is highly aggressive, has an educated jab with both hands, has a good right hand and a good left hand, has a good overhand right, has a good straight right, has a good counter left hook. Bud has great foot movement. Out of the two, I think Bud has very good foot movement. I think Canelo has very subtle foot movement. It takes a seasoned veteran to be able to cut off the ring and not follow somebody around and get someone to engage. Again, I'm going to have to give a lot of these points over to the basket of Canelo. The one thing that Canelo has that Bud has that Canelo doesn't have, Bud has no losses. You cannot teach him how to lose. You cannot teach him how to submit. You can't teach him how to back down. Bud knows only one thing. At the end, his hand is raised. So that is a dangerous, absolutely, completely dangerous individual, because no matter what, he believes that he's going to win. And it's up to Canelo to take that from him. We've seen that in a lot of fighters. And a lot of fighters and a lot of great fighters have to be taught that loss will show up. No matter how good you are, loss will show up. Unless you're Rocky Marciano or Floyd Mayweather, loss will show up. From the great Julio Cesar Chavez to Roy Jones to Muhammad Ali to Mike Tyson, the list goes on and on. For individuals that we thought that was impregnable, unstoppable, can't be conquered, we thought a lot of those individuals can never be stopped. And their night showed up. I believe tonight is Bud's night. I want Bud to win. I want Bud to go out there and be spectacular. What I want the fight that I should have got with him and Spence. Spence was abusing, allegedly, alcohol, recreationals, and wasn't dedicated to the sport. Canelo drinks. I don't think that's cool for a fighter. Bud lives clean. Bud doesn't do those things. Now, I don't know about snack, but it will be really cool to see something incredible tonight. And that's what I'm tuning in for. So I hope all of y'all are tuning in for something incredible. What happened? Addict is here? Gaming Addict, I'll fill in for King. Where's Gaming Addict at? He has my phone. Why didn't he just call me? Hold on, he texted me. I'll fire it up. I need you on Discord. I'm here. We good at 1 year. All of us is on Discord. We should be fine. It's still D doing it? Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah. I'm in. Dip Down ain't doing nothing. Dip Down is not associated with Iron Lord's podcast any longer. Just making jokes. They just need to hit me up. Now, I wanted to talk about the Nintendo Direct real quickly. The Nintendo Direct to me was an absolute display of greed in so many different forms that it's incredible. Nintendo showed you how, I thought the Virtual Boy thing was really, really cool. I thought the Virtual Boy thing was something outstanding until I found out the price. It's a shell. It doesn't do anything. It costs $100. Costs $100. And that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Hold on. So let me see something. I'm gonna jump in the Discord with them, and I'm gonna let them know that I'm live, but I'm gonna mute them. All right, hold on. Where are they? They're in here. All right, I'm in here now, so I'm gonna mute y'all, but I'm gonna continue this real quick. I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna mute y'all. Okay.
We'll start at 2. We're going to get Teddy in here and do that form before we start.
Okay, so y'all gonna do that. Okay, so let me leave from here. Yeah, give me enough time to finish. All right, cool. Catch you in a minute. Peace. All right, so I still got enough time. Now, the Nintendo stuff. I thought Nintendo was raggedy. I thought Nintendo was greedy. I thought Nintendo, just as a company, I expected them to give you guys, well, me too, right? Because I'm a huge Nintendo fan, right? Why is it in Bing? What's happening? Okay, here we go. I don't use Bing like that. Hold on. All right, Nintendo news. Here we go. Now I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the price of that Mario Galaxy. Listen, this right here is bad business. And let me show you why it's bad business. This is bad business. All right, the pre-order for the Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now, remember when I told you that they was going to be showing Super Mario game, a Mario game, and just like they're not showing no Mario game. Well, look, stupid, they showed a Mario game. Wow, Wow, King was right again. Now, I'm not saying it was a brand new one. I know that there's supposed to be a brand new Mario Odyssey game that they're working on. Excuse me. And that game's supposed to look outstanding. Looks insane. They didn't tell the price up front, but they tell the price after the fact. And you can get the 1 and 2 for $70. It's $10 less than if you buy it, unless you buy it separately. So if you buy it separately, Galaxy and Galaxy 2, for the digital versions, it's only $40. Normally that would be $80, but if you buy the double pack, it's $70. That's bad within itself, right? With games like Silk Song and other games coming out for the $20, and just saying, this is an actual straight port, right? Nothing added, none of that crazy stuff. This is what you get for that price. But what makes it more egregious is the physical of that is $70. Now, not too long ago, I remember getting like from Amazon. It was like the Mario package, and they said it was going to be for a limited time only, and you had a whole bunch of games, and I got to go check it and see if it's upstairs. But you got all those games, and it was for a decent price. But they put it for a limited time only. You only had a limited time to get it, and they will never do it again. And I guess they knew what they were going to do next with this pricing, and that pricing structure within itself is kind of bad. It's not kind of bad. Is really bad. It's really bad when you couple it with all the other stuff that they were doing throughout the Direct. Now, I know a lot of people wanted to see certain other games during the Direct. I personally thought that I would see what I saw when it came to the Pokemon stuff. A lot of people thought they was going to see something else. I was kind of happy for seeing the Yoshi game. Hold on. And getting the news about the Resident Evil Requiem coming to Switch 2. So you're gonna have 9, 8, 7, I think 6, and then you're supposed to have a remake of 1 and 2, or the redo of 1 and 2. Hold on, we're gonna talk about the game cards in a second. Here we go. The Virtual Boy accessory. I was one of the dudes back in the days that purchased a Virtual Boy. I thought the Virtual Boy was one of the best devices in the world at the time. I was a kid. So my mom's comes in the house and she sees me with this thing on the table, and I guess I don't know who the hell told her, it's gonna give him migraines and headaches and it's bad. And I'm like, Ma, it doesn't, and I'm fine. But the thing got a bad rap very early on and was taken off the shelves. I don't even think the Virtual Boy lasted 6 months. I don't think. But I had every cartridge that the thing came with. And the Virtual Boy is the next Nintendo console coming to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack alongside the physical replica of the VR console that users will be able to plug their consoles into. Now, there's a slot. You're able to put in your Switch 2 or your Switch 1. And you pop open the top and you just slide it inside and you're able to play your Virtual Boy games. Tennis was good. I liked the Wario. I thought Wario was the best game out of it because it utilized the foreground and the background. It was doing things, but it only had one color, and it was red, and they had different shades of red. And I think that was absolutely its death knell. Even though, it was supposed to come out February 17th, 2026, and the accessory costs $100. I thought it could have cost $25. They have a cardboard version for $25, but they're selling the plastic version for $100. And I just felt that was bad. I thought that. Let me show you the device itself. Boom, hold on.
Boy games in stereoscopic 3D while playing on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch.
Hold on, let me give you
In
that
order to
over
play,
again.
you'll need this dedicated
Let me
accessory.
give it to you again from the beginning. I thought the device was dope because I'm a fan.
Coming to Nintendo Classics, Virtual Boy. You'll be able to enjoy a collection of Virtual Boy games in stereoscopic 3D while playing on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. In order to play, you'll need this dedicated accessory. This recreates the form of the original Virtual Boy hardware by inserting a console to play. Both Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch are supported. Play Mario's Tennis, Galactic Pinball, Telero Boxer,
That boxing
and
was
more.
dope.
The 14 classic games shown here are planned to be released over time. Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics is scheduled to launch February 17th. The dedicated accessory needed to play Virtual Boy Nintendo.
So that being $100 and the cardboard being $25, I was like, damn, man, like you missed your moment. You missed your moment to be a Nintendo, right? You missed your moment to again, you outpriced yourself for no reason at all. You could have got it for $25 and just did it. Just fix history, right? But I honestly, unless you're a hardcore physical person, I really don't see you going to get it. Me personally, I'm gonna go get it because I don't know where my Virtual Boy went over the annals of time. So I'm gonna get it, but it's gonna be more of a novelty device for me, sitting on the shelf, type of thing. A piece of time, a piece of history that I've actually had and went back to. But I just think that, man, their level of greed hasn't exceeded their grasp yet, and it even went over to the amiibos. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge amiibo fan, right? Hold on, let me see. And I didn't like what they did with Donkey Kong, and I didn't like the fact that they announced that you was gonna have to get DLC for a game that wasn't out yet. It's just a lot of things that they were doing there was bad. Like, where's that stupid Donkey Kong? Because that means that you purposely held back Donkey Kong Emeralds to sell it to me after I purchased the game. Like, literally, that's a part in the game that you could have put inside the game that I could have got out, but you said, let me monetize him further by giving him the base game. Well, now it's a base game, and taking out this piece of content and giving it to him later. Kind of how I felt with Spider-Man 2 with all the stuff that I found out with Venom. I was upset with that because I thought that they was going to sell a complete game. Nintendo is doing more dirty, underhanded things. But it was some good stuff that they had that was there, but I still think the monetization of people that like physical is going through the roof. And it's not like they're balancing it out with, all right, if you buy a digital with the virtual cards, you get the games for $30. It's not like they're doing that. No, they're really charging close to the exact price that it would be for physical. And then they're adding physical stuff to games that don't need it. Like, I thought that this was egregious within itself. Hold on. Let me see. Let me get to this screen so y'all could see it. I thought this was egregious within itself.
When you decide to step up to this kind of play,
Absolutely
this
stupidness.
kind
Hold on.
of fun,
Let me mute that.
this kind.
Let me mute that. I thought that them doing the Yoshi was dope. But then they decided to put this little book for Yoshi. And I'm like,
One day, on the
why
island
would they
where
do
Yoshi
that
and
book
his friends live,
that cost that much?
a talking book
Physical
named
people.
Mr. E
This book.
suddenly falls from the sky.
So they make the physical book a fun thing inside the game, and then they get you. He said, what he said? Well, hold on. That looks stupid. You're stupid. I'm going to get cancer from that thing. You stupid. I can't listen to Dip Down. They make a fun thing out of this little book, but then they place the book as a physical item that you could purchase later for another fee. It's like they're trying to figure out, since they're
It
getting
looks
you
like the book
digital,
has information within
how
its
they
pages
can
about
get you
unusual
physical.
creatures.
you
But
see
can't
how the book
actually
looks?
See what's written down. So Yoshi
game looks
jumps
good.
in to help investigate.
I like this kind of
First,
stuff. This
let's
single player
study this
stuff, I like
flower-like
this stuff.
creature.
And I always thought that they use Yoshi and Mario
Right
completely
away.
different, and the same thing that they do when
tastes kind of
they use
sweet.
Luigi, but also
You
when
can
they go
carry
in
this
and
creature
use
on
Princess
your back.
Peach. So
flower
now
buds with
Yoshi
it, and
is
they'll bloom.
able to have somebody on his back instead of Mario.
As you wander through the book, you'll make
Kinda
all
dope.
sorts of discoveries about the creatures you find.
I thought it was cool.
And those discoveries
Now-
will be
A lot of you guys might say you're king, you bugging. I thought the Nintendo Direct to me was a 7 out of 10. They had some dope stuff there, but they still doing egregious practices that I don't agree with, that I think that they should step away from. But they're trying to control video gaming and piracy by introducing virtual cards, and these virtual cards is going to be something that's going to come back and bite them in the butt. I told you early on, before the console was ever released, that I didn't think it was going to be as successful as the Switch 1. Maybe I could be wrong, but this is what happens when you win a generation. The Switch won last generation by terms of share games sold and consoles sold. If you look at it, not in the minds of gamers, in the minds of gamers, you're going to hear PlayStation 1. But in all actuality, Nintendo won. And you can tell by them doing these egregious practices that they are absolutely full of themselves, and they're seeing how much they can get away with by getting double to triple more money. The games being made digitally doesn't cost a damn thing for them to ship out or anything. That's where they're saving a boatload of money. But they're also making and charging the developers to make physical copies. And if they're making physical copies of these games, they're going to run up the prices in some weird fashion like you've seen with the Mario world. I personally, a Mario Galaxy, I personally feel that Nintendo needs to be stopped. But again, a lot of you dudes are going to say that you'll support that stuff. And I only brought 2 games for my Switch 2. Right? If you look at my Switch, because somebody was telling me about Hades and Hades 2, and I was like, I had it on my Steam Deck for over a year and some change, I think. I think it was like last year when I was going to Summer Games Fest, I was playing Hades 2. And then I played it again this year. I've been playing Hades 2 for a while. And they showed it there, and people are thinking that Hades 2 hasn't been out. But Hades 2 has been out already. So, again, I'm just saying, I don't believe in any of their practices, and I only purchased 2 games from them, the Donkey Kong and the Mario Kart. And I'm not buying third-party games through them. I'm not looking for third-party games through them. I just feel that being that I know that I play video games, and I know a lot of you guys are going to say, hey, but why don't you just say no that you're not going to give them the money? Bro, addiction is real. All right, so keep it a buck. I play video games. I have consoles. I get all the consoles that come out, especially from the big 3. I like console gaming, and I'm not gonna lie. The Nintendo Switch 2 held me down when I went on vacation not too long ago at the airport, in between stops. So I was using it. It was being utilized. Do I support the practices? No. But unfortunately, they haven't done something too egregious enough for me personally for me to walk away from their device. Something else has to happen in order for me to just say that's it. I can't mess with them. The same thing with the PlayStation. I buy the device and I get spot games that come out that's really first party games only for them, and I actually, play those first party games. Only then. I don't buy third-party games on PlayStation. But my Xbox is I get all of this stuff. I get third-party games. I get first-party games. I just feel that Xbox at the moment, for me, gives me the best value for what I'm looking for. And I like the ecosystem a whole lot more. And it's a lot more stuff going on there that caters to me as a consumer. That may not be for you. For you, Nintendo may be doing it up. For the PlayStation people, PlayStation may be doing it up. But the other day on a game that I've been playing, and I absolutely see the difference, I don't know, because I wasn't, measuring it. Black Myth Wukong update patch fixes the biggest Xbox problem, and maybe finally try one of last year. He might try one of last year's most popular games on the Microsoft console. It wasn't a doubt in my mind that when it came out, I wasn't going to buy the game. I purchased the game the minute it hit the streets. I've been playing it. Y'all see it. If anybody follows me, I'm pretty much online now. I haven't been bothered as much lately. So I've been playing it. I've gotten pretty far in the game. I think the game is dope, but I've already had it on Steam. I just chose not to play it there. And I wasn't buying it on PlayStation. So apparently right now, the image quality issues has been fixed. And earlier on, they said, the image quality issues, they were having a problem with it. But, from Jez and them, they said the image quality is a whole lot better. I didn't have a problem with the image quality at all. But again, I wasn't basing it off of anything other than the quality that I had in front of me. I noticed certain things, like when I walked through a room and normal light transitions that you would have through HDR wasn't transitioning properly. Like it would be jarring to affect, like it's like a filter being popped on and off. So what I did notice now when I walk through from one area to the next, that whole pop-in series of HDR, whatever, has been kind of smoothed out. I guess that's pretty much it. But from the visual eye, I haven't seen anything too much. They said there's a slow responses to controller inputs and the language text selection drop down. I didn't do it. I wouldn't know. I can't attest to that. But what I can say is visually, the game had looked a little bit sharper than I remember when I saw it in videos. And then that was the case when I looked at Digital Foundry. But other than that, for me, the game is amazing. The game is fun. The game is what I want from a single player game. Exploration, not a lot of hand holding, not a lot of, hey, look at that thing up there. None of that stuff. Pretty much an adventure game that is heavy on adventure and exploration, with its thorough in its combat, a lot of building and play how you play type of things. Like if you like to do like Shadow Step, if that's your thing, you could spec your character out to Shadow Step. Or if you want to do, it's like this stone type of style where they hit you, and it's like, if you time it perfectly, it's a dope parry, and it like is a great stun parry. It looks really good visually. It looks great, and it's a well thought out game when it comes to that. When it comes to each stance has its own particular style and its own particular downfalls too. I made it to a Buddha part right now that I have to go get a little bit stronger. What I like about the game is you're able to go back into the world because the world is so expansive, and you're able to build your character up. Because like if you kill a character early on, like, you know how certain games, as you go up in level, you don't get the same XP for the character, the NPCs in the world. Well, this one, you get the same amount of XP. So if you're doing like a circuit of farming XP, you're able to still keep that circuit going in order to get up to higher levels, because it's really about your character has all the ability. They're just not strong enough to beat certain characters yet. But given that y'all on the same plane of like level of power stat, you're able to pretty much beat them. So that's the reason why I like Black Myth. I think Black Myth is pretty cool. And that update came out, and I wasn't expecting the update to come out, but it came out of nowhere, and that was pretty cool. I don't know what other people are playing right now. I got a chance to play Borderlands yesterday, and I'm going to tell you, anybody saw the stream on Fight Night Friday yesterday, and I thought other people was going to come in and want to play Borderlands. And I said, I'll play Borderlands with you guys, but obviously dudes did not like it like that, or dudes made it too far or whatever. We wind up playing Marvel Rivals, and Marvel Rivals has a new new season out. So we're into the battle pass on that. But I honestly, I thought it was moving slow. I'm used to fast-paced first-person shooter games, and the game was moving slow. I even compared it to Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and I thought Tiny Tina's Wonderland. And y'all saw me playing Tiny Tina's, and I thought Tiny Tina's was way more fun. So again, remember, I play games for fun factor and interactions and what makes me happy. I don't know about you guys, but that didn't do it for me. I'm going to be playing with Iron Lords in a second, so we're going to see about if it's actually going to be better for me this time around, but maybe not. One more topic that I do want to talk about real quickly. I know it was another topic about Xbox had did something. Oh, the rewards program. They're about to discontinue the rewards program. Let me talk about that, because I gave shout out to Jay Barry and King Thrash and all of them. I gave them all types of hell when Stars left. I gave them absolutely all types of hell. And I was telling you guys early on, the way you was able to stack up your Game Pass was you was able to use your reward points, use it, build it up, get Game Pass. I guess somebody was listening to me. So they kind of rejiggered the rewards. So now it's a little bit harder, but you're still able to get those goals, but you just got to work doubly as hard, if not triple. And then all in all, they're about to just get rid of it. So I read an article on that, and I was going to do a whole video on it, but the world had went upside down in the last couple of days, and the president was in my city. I think he left already, thank God, because I work Midtown before I go to the outskirts of Queens and Long Island City, and the gridlock was absolutely insane, because actually he was staying at a hotel right around my areas, and it just was absolutely insane. Good thing I knew a couple of the officers, like, yo, let me pass, let me get out of here. make it happen. But nah, man. So yeah, the world was upside down. Plus it was 9/11 over here. So 9/11 usually in the city, it's a big thing here with the memorial and all that other stuff, and people going down and paying the respects, and that stuff kind of causes a lot of gridlock here as well. And then with the president being in town, makes it doubly worse. And then everything else that's going on in the world is insane. So it was just pretty much a couple of trying days, and that's why you didn't get a video from me, because it's just been really insane going on. But Final Fantasy VII Remake finally heads to Xbox in January. And I think that's the day that the whatchamacallit was up, their contract with PlayStation. And I think on that day or around that time, we should have, around in November, we should hear about Rebirth and when that's going to make it. But apparently the developers of the trilogy said all three is going to make it to the Xbox, and I'm happy for it. I'm pretty much sure that a lot of people that don't have a PlayStation. Now listen, do I have access to the game? Yes, I do. I can play it on my PlayStation right now if I wanted to. I have absolute access to the game, and it's not port begging when you actually have access to stuff. But what I do like is those individuals that don't have any opportunities to play this game. Now they do. And now you're able to have the complete Final Fantasy main storylines on one device. And if you're a JRPG fan, that's elating to you, because maybe you purchased another console or was contemplating purchasing another console based off of it not being available for your device of choice. And I don't think that should ever be the case when it comes to third-party companies. First-party companies, we pretty much understand that there's damn near no chances. Well, the world has changed now. There's no chances that that game would make it over to a competitor's device. But now, in this day and age, we see that some games do make it over to a competitor's device. And in the case of Microsoft, a majority of their games have made it over to, I wouldn't even say overwhelming. Just a small sum of games have made it over to the PlayStation, and the majority make it over to the PC. Nothing has made it over to Nintendo yet, and that's all due to what Nintendo's up to. But when these third-party companies decide to exclude one company, that's not cool. Hopefully the sales are better than, I think it was, 16? Hopefully the sales are better than 16. I actually have 16. And I brought 16 on PlayStation. So I purchased 16 in multiple places. But hopefully the sales are better on 7 than it is 16. And that'll get that, that'll show Square not to ditch the Xbox platform. But the fact that it's Play Anywhere shows me what it is. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Didn't I tell you that Xbox ROG Ally was going to be $499? Oh, come up to $549. And didn't I tell you the Xbox ROG Ally X was going to be $899? But it takes each and every last one of you to go and get it someplace else. It takes hold on one second. Hold on. Put him on that for that. Boom. Let me see. Yeah, good. What's up, Mark City Entertainment, my dude? Yeah, I had to put Dip down on timeout. I had to get him up out of here. You're gonna learn your lesson and dip down. I'm gonna let him know you're a racist. Allegedly. But yo, listen. Let me get ready to boogie out of here. These guys are just texting me. We're getting ready to go live. I'm getting ready to go live on Frontline Gaming Streams. And Iron Lords is getting ready to go live playing Borderlands 4. And then after that, I'm taking the wife and my son to the movies to go see what's that scary ass movie? The Conjuring. So yeah, we're gonna go see The Conjuring. Yeah, that part. He said, "Let you in the lobby with y'all." Nah, you gotta talk to Attic with that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You gotta talk to Attic with that. But I catch y'all in a minute. We gotta talk some business, and then we're gonna jump over. I'm gonna be live in a few minutes on a Frontline Gaming Stream. So if you want to catch us playing Borderlands 4, and if you're trying to figure out if you're interested in the game, me right now, we got to give a review of the game. I got to tell Take-Two how I feel about the game, or 2K, how I feel about the game. Right now. We'll see. What he said, don't be scared, King. I'm not scared. I'm not letting them in. What is wrong with you? I got nothing to do with that. That got nothing to do with me. That's them. We on their stream. That's me. I ain't got no problem with that. But check me out on Frontline Gaming Streams. I'm about to go live right now. Got to give Coco her medicine. And, well, Bella's fine. Bella's just teasing her. Catch y'all in a minute. Have a blessed day. Enjoy your weekend. Try not to do something stupid, because there's a lot of stupid going on in the world. So try not to do something stupid. Keep your faculties, people. I'm frustrated.